Hello, army of xeroxers. I'm going to do, I just realized, well, actually, I'll say this when more people join. Let's see if I can fix the webcam. Something I try to do before every stream, but sometimes I forget. I need to buy a more decent setup. Okay, let's show some skin now. I got my skin in the game. My army of xeroxers are joining. Yeah, which part did abuse you, JT? Like that's an actual government agency, and they made that in order to show that they're diverse. So you would assume that they hired those people in the picture, but in reality, they went to Shutterstock. Why hire diverse people when you can go to Shutterstock? Thank you, Alejandro. I appreciate for the 5 Polish zloty. Cannonball Xerox. That is so good. Yeah, so as cynical says, like, he's here to learn more about Xeroxing. I think this is my call in life, to teach the rural Americans how to Xerox, to alleviate the concerns that Vice President Kamala Harris has that people in rural America might not know how to Xerox. See, I will use the money from Reggie and start an NGO to teach the poor Americans in the rural community how to properly Xerox. My God. And I love, like, her take. It's like, well, they don't have, like, Xerox machines there. How much is a printer? I'm actually curious. Like, let me check to see, just out of curiosity, how much is the cheapest printer that I can buy. So, this is from Romania, right? I think, like, even in rural America, you still have Amazon or some delivery service. I mean, hold on, give me a second. I need to fix this a little bit. Give me a second. Chotomate. Here we go. So the cheapest printer that I could find, okay, is 146 RON. Now 146. Let's convert that into dollars. Let's just see how much does it cost for a printer. So 146 divided by 4, $36. Okay, so for $36, the people in rural America could afford a printer. Now, I think, like, if only one person, like, you don't, okay, let's assume that they're too poor. Let's assume they don't have $36, right? Because apparently I've been told some people don't have money to buy ID, so, maybe they don't have, like, $36. But what if 10 people pitch in, and each of them put $4, and then one of them buys the printer, and he photocopies for literally everyone else? What about that? You can hire someone for $2 to draw something for you. Yeah, that's also true. The ink costs 40. Shit, I didn't think about the ink. Oh my God, yeah, you're right. I mean, maybe this is impossible. Like, maybe what I've been trying to accomplish here is difficult because I didn't look at all the facts. All right. So, let's talk a little bit about Cuba. Okay. Now, you guys probably know the New York Times, which said that people were chanting freedom and other non-government slogans. The reason they said freedom and other anti-government slogans. The reason they said this is because the other anti-government slogans were death to communism. Yeah, no, seriously, like, almost every single video that I looked at Cuba had people chanting anti-communist messages, like, literally everyone. So the New York Times, instead of, like, mentioning that, they said, well, other. Yeah, not other, that's actually the main one, you dumbasses, but okay. And do you guys remember when Kaepernick, he kneeled in front of the American flag, but he talked very nice about Cuba. He had positive things to say about Cuba. And recently, Black Lives Matter also had positive to say about Cuba. Here's a Cuban Black America having negative things to say about Cuba.
de Black Lives Matter, ustedes han hablado con algún negro cubano, ustedes han hablado para ustedes estar diciendo lo que están diciendo. Les pido que se reúnan, que hablen, que investiguen antes de opinar, que investiguen con los negros que están defendiendo la negritud aquí en Cuba. No sé si ustedes me conocen o no, el que me conoce sabe, para que después puedan opinar si aquí se respetan los derechos de los negros, si aquí hay racismo o no.
So, oof. I would say that's a oof. I would say that's a big oof. The big yikes. Yeah, the BLM had the statement supporting Cuba, and they're blaming the United States for... Okay, so there's like two schools of thought. So first of all, I think it was the Biden administration school of thought, which said that the reason people are angry in Cuba is because they don't have vaccines. Okay? So because of the lack of vaccines, people are on the streets in Cuba. Okay? It's not because of the communist government. It's not, no. It's the vaccines. Okay? The second way of thought seems to be that of the Black Lives Matter, which is saying that the reason people are upset in Cuba is because the economy is doing poorly due to the fact that the United States is boycotting Cuba. My question has to be, why is it always the capitalist nations that are screwing the socialist nations and not the other way around? If socialism is so good, if it's so great, shouldn't it be Cuba boycotting the US and the US suffering because of it? Now, I know, you know, like people will say, well, hold on, Ulvi, you know, that's not very fair. That's not really fair because, like, Cuba is a small nation, the US is a big one. Okay, but, like, throughout history, we actually had the clash of capitalism versus socialism. Like, there was the clash between the United States and the Soviet Union, man. And the Soviet Union lost. They lost. So you can't really say, oh, well, the CIA, are you trying to tell me that the KGB didn't try to subvert? I mean, honestly, this is the largest scope in the world. It's like, ooh, the CIA is everywhere. The CIA is toppling. The CIA... As if, you know, like, other nations don't have their own intelligence agencies. As if other nations didn't try to subvert the US during the Cold War. Probably some of them are still doing now. Well, yeah, they've been boycotting for decades, but you know. So like that's the interesting thing, right? And then you have like black people in Cuba, and they're saying it's like, look, Black Lives Matter. Before you say about racism and before you promote Cuba, like you should talk with black people here in Cuba first. Like you should ask us. you should talk to us first before kissing the government's ass. You know, that would be a good idea. But what's interesting is that you see people like Kaepernick and Black Lives Matter, you know, like dissing the American flag, like throwing away the American flag. And then you see the people in Cuba who are protesting and they are flying the US flag. I mean, you get the US flag, which is respected more by people in Hong Kong and Cuba. Like, that should tell you a lot. Although, like, I think those people should also look at the news to see what the America stands about now. Because they probably don't know what they're doing. But okay. The US is one country. Cuba has trade with lots of other countries. I know. I mean, can't they trade with China? Don't they trade with Russia? Don't they trade with other nations? It's like, as you mentioned, I mean, okay, fine. You know, like the US is one country. It's a pretty big country. I'll give you that. But still. Yeah, Cuba does trade with China. I know. I'm not well versed into Cuban foreign trading policy, but I reckon they trade with other countries, right? Like the US didn't create Cuba into an enclave and forbid them to trade with the rest of the world. Why is America being blamed? Because of the COPE, okay? Like, I noticed this with a lot of leftist ideologies. They always need another. Like they need a scapegoat to explain why their ideology isn't working. Instead of looking inwards, they need a scapegoat. So basically, like, literally every bad thing happening in a socialist country is because of the CIA and the United States. I genuinely wonder, like, if the United States wouldn't exist, how the socialist nations would explain their failures. Because right now, like, if you talk with any communist on Twitter, if you talk with someone with the sausage in the bio, with the logos and the communist paraphernalia and the letters and what, they will all tell you that every single communist regime in the world fell because of CIA and because of the Americans. And I'm thinking, like, motherfucker, like, that CIA, like, I know it's powerful, but, like, really that powerful? It's almost like an evil entity for these people. Like, the CIA is not an institution anymore. It seems to be transcending that. You wonder if even humans work there, or are they, like, spirits from the demiplane? I don't know. But it seems like the CIA is like the Skaven. They have, like, tunnels under every single country in the world, and they're able to manipulate and pull things from the shadows. It's just fascinating. I mean, even the Americans didn't think the KGB was that powerful. And thank you, Rusta, for the $0.79. Kind of how you need China as a scapegoat? No, I think, like, they constantly use Russia this, Russia. But even then, like, a lot of people will say, hold on a little bit. I'm talking with the far right person talking about China. Isn't the far right going like Jews this and Jews that, and you're lecturing, liberals about scapegoating? Oh, fuck off. I generally don't understand. Like, yeah, like the far right is lecturing, oh, you did China as a scapegoat. But, like, the thing with China, like, it's only recently that people even mention it. I mean, before Trump, you didn't even hear about China being mentioned in a negative light. And usually when you mention about things about China, it's stuff like, okay, well, I don't like TikTok because it's spying on me. I don't like these apps because it's spying on people. And then after the pandemic, people are upset that the world is turning more and more like China. It's like, okay, they got a social credit score. Well, now we seem to get something similar in the West. Yeah, where you can get excommunicated, but it's not the government doing it. It's the private corporation. The government is just doing the flagging. The government is just flagging. It's the actual private company that takes you down. Yeah. Oh, of course, yes. The difference is that you're right and I'm wrong. Yes, absolutely. But, like, what I wanted to prove is that you're not against scapegoating. So, STFU. Scapegoat is an old term. Scapegoat. Isn't it in the Bible? I think it was in the Bible, but I forgot under what circumstances. Probably in the Old Testament. Yeah, you're probably right. If Trump never talked about China, where would the world be at this time? Well, no, like, I think, like, China doing the wolf warrior bullshit where their diplomats are almost like trolls and they're saying the most crazy and outlandish things just to create shock. Like, people will start talking about them anyway, because, like, they're definitely trying to get attention by the wolf warrior mentality, where they're like, anyone who tries to enslave the Chinese people is going to meet their face against the great wall of billions of people of China. And it's like, yeah, who the fuck is trying to enslave the Chinese people? Like, what country on earth has that pejorative? Which the fuck? Yeah. Oh yeah, it is Moses. Okay. I forgot my Bible, man. Like, it's been a while. I know a lot about the New Testament, but when it comes to the Old Testament, I'm not that well versed. Okay, let me show you something else, which I found to be quite bizarre. Now, I don't know who this guy is, so maybe you guys can clue me in. But it's probably like a movie reviewer, right? So it's the cynical critic. I don't know anything about the cynical critic. Is he like a left-wing type of person? Is he a progressive, or is he like neutral? Is he a centrist? Right? Is he apolitical? Or is he a progressive? This is what I want to know. Because I find this very funny, right? So why Parasite is an objectively bad movie? Okay, fine. Whatever. But then you look at the comment section. And the first guy, your review is garbage. No one will agree with you. And then the cynical critic says, his reviews are good. You're just salty. He had a different opinion than you. Did you forget to log out of your main? And I'm thinking, like, man, I have seen this shit on Twitter. Like, you actually see it all the time. Usually it's when people send death threats to themselves and they forget to log out to another account. Like, you see Brianna Wu, and she's, like, death threatening herself. And then it's like, oh, gamers, look how evil they are. But it's also like sometimes you get to see a similar thing. But at least on Twitter, it's because of traction. Who the fuck does it in a YouTube comment section? Like, what type of person does it on YouTube comment section? The thing is, like, let me show you something else. All right, let me just explain to you why you never want to do it on YouTube. give me just a second so I could go on my main channel. Okay. We're going to look at This Week is Stupid, right? So, this video is like, what, like 50 minutes? I just posted it. Look how many comments I get, right? Oh, is this it? Hold on. I think the damn thing borked. Okay, fine. Well, this is a new video. Let me just go to something else. Okay, this is one. Okay. So this is for 4 days ago, right? Look how many comments I get, right? So this is just like an average video. It's not a video that is quite big. It's not a small. This is like what I usually get on average. So I can still scroll down. So this is like how many comments I get. Imagine like logging on an alternative account like I am now because I'm on the live stream channel and pretending to be someone else just to like respond to all these comments and go like, no, you, like getting a zinger or some shit. Who the fuck does that? Why would you do that? Like you're getting nothing in return. The only thing that you can do, which is actually better, because I get it, you know, like you put a lot of effort in a video and then someone gives you, yeah, you're a bad person. You didn't do anything proper. It's like, man, just respond with your main account and tell the person, you know, I'm so sorry you feel that way, man, or something like that. And then the person gets to think, oh my god, Masa responded to me, so they actually like you more. Because it's like, well, you know, you actually noticed them. And you look a little bit more professional than just going in like with a hidden account, comment to comment to comment, and just giving them, it's like, no, you just don't understand the great wisdom of the wizard. The wizard is so smart. You're just dumb. You don't get it. You sent us here, don't complain about comments. I mean, I don't think I ever I mean, maybe, you know, I've been doing YouTube for like 4 years. I'll never say never. Like, maybe I did complain about comments a couple of times, but what I never did, like, I didn't make another account and pretend I'm someone else in order to, like, respond to the comments, to defend the honor, to white knight myself. I never did that. I don't watch This Week is Stupid because I can't handle that level of sarcasm. The thing is, like, if I wouldn't be sarcastic and I actually would say what I think, number one, I would fly in a rant and I would never manage to finish the actual video. And number two, I would probably start getting community guideline strikes. So, you know, it's a lot better to just be a little bit sarcastic. And not to mention, like, you probably know what I think about the issues. It's not that it's not obvious that it's sarcasm. But I get it, you know, like, if you don't like it, if it's not your cup of tea, you know, I get it. I'm sorry you feel that way, and, you know, there's nothing else I can do about the matter. Yeah, it's kind of surprising they left the YouTube comments up, to be honest. I'm curious if they would shut it down, but then they would just destroy the website. Because, like, from what I understand, like, Google bought the website, but, when they bought it initially, like, it was already built, and now if they tinker with one thing, they can destroy other things down the line, so they're just choosing not to. Yeah, it probably would be banned, so. Yes, exactly. I'm sorry, you know, like, I'm sorry you don't like it, but there's nothing I can do about it. I would probably, and it's not that I would get banned or anything like that. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But the main problem is that I would definitely go with a rant every time I read something. So, you know, look at this. You know, like, it just goes to prove my fan disservice theory. Notice how over time she became gradually less sexualized. This is the improvement that we need. So, you get from this to this to this to... I didn't even notice that she was, like, less sexualized. But what I did notice is that she is less appreciated in the ratings. I mean, the last movie apparently didn't do so well. And yeah, I mean, this is how the progressives are nowadays. Which is kind of weird, because they're not really like this, right? Like, when it comes to Twitch, when it comes to Yes Queen Slay, when it comes to OnlyFans, they're very fine with this. Like, for some reason, all of a sudden, they're really happy with this. Like, they want this. But when it's about entertainment, They're literally like this. In front, they're like this. It's like more like getting a stick. Getting a stick and getting the developer to beat up the fictional character until it looks as masculine as possible, like it fell into the bucket of testosterone. She got older. Yeah, like I'm not complaining when it comes to characters like Black Widow, because, you know, they're played by a real actor, so yeah, they got older. What I don't get is when it's a motion capture video game character and they choose not to use the image of the actual actress for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, give me a second. I need to open the window because I'm dying of heat here, and I also need to throw the cat out. Cat, get the fuck out of my room. Get the fuck out, cat. Alright, so I kicked out the cat, now I need to open the window. Alright, now I'm hearing the crickets. Okay. Bassett. Have you noticed that she is less sexualized because she got older, Genius? Well, it's not necessarily that she got older. They also cherry pick the pictures, and you know, I guess it's the clothing as well and the dress. But like, yeah, if I don't think you can sport this look and make it gorgeous if you're getting past a certain age. You know, like clothing and fashion does take into account ages. Like if I were to dress like a grandma, you know, people would notice. Like it's just like weird. People would turn their heads and they would just like, So I do think like fashion does take into account the age of people as well. So look at this. I actually love this one. Texas Democrats support no masks on airplanes. So apparently, like what they did, they ran away from Texas in order to avoid voting on a law, forcing the law not to have the quorum, right? And fine, apparently it's illegal. They're probably going to get arrested when they come back to Texas. But the thing is, like, they're LARPing as they're being oppressed while flying in their own private jet. And they're not social distancing. They're not wearing masks, right? One of the ladies even has beer. I think like someone zoomed in and there's some beer here. So to me, it's like, why are they worried about it? Like when they come up on television, did you notice that shit? When they come up on television, they're all masked up and they're all blah, blah, because I get it. They're probably all vaccinated. Fine. But when they go on television, they all have the masks and they all, you know, talk about social distancing and whatnot. And when they're in private, you keep getting to see them like this. And these are the leaders, right? Like they're leading by example, I guess. But the unfortunate thing is that they started to sing. And oh my God, like, trust me, you do not want to hear Democrats singing. It causes harm. You know, like the Trust and Safety Council on Twitter probably would have deleted the song, but unfortunately, their eardrums exploded before they could do that. I'm trying to find the song. I'm trying to find the Democrats singing, because scrolling down, if I can't find it, I'll be very disappointed. But okay, let me try going on YouTube and Democrats sing. I found it. Yeah, but it also goes to show, you know, like the Texas Democrats, they're setting examples in pictures about going without a mask. That is, wow. Like I'm surprised they're not being removed for misinformation, but look at this.
And thank you very much for all that you do.
We will overcome someday. Deep in our heart, I do believe we shall.
You know, I didn't like it. There wasn't a lot of soul. No, honestly, like in Romania, we have the Christmas carol tradition. You know, where you have kids coming to your door and they're singing a carol, and then you give them money. Right now, part of the money should be based on performance. My question is, how much money would you give them if they came out your door singing like this? And like, where's the soul? Where's the passion? Like, you're talking about overcoming, like the struggle. Okay, you're oppressed. You're like, we will overcome. You need to shout it. You need to shout it from the deeps of your lungs. You need to express that emotion. And I don't feel it here. Like, do you feel? Do you feel that these Democrats who just flew on a private plane, smiling and taking selfies, are oppressed when they're singing this? Is it a song? You know, like, do you remember the Pirates of the Caribbean? Right, like the Pirates of the Caribbean, and you know the East India Trading Company is catching the pirates, and they're sending them to the gallows. But the pirates start to sing in defiance, and you feel the song, and it's like a passionate song, a powerful song, and then you listen to the Democrats. Like, yeah, I just don't feel it. HK9410, I didn't see the super chat. You get buyer's remorse. Minus $20. You know what? I'll tell you something like this. If a Christmas caroler would come into my door and they would sing like that, instead of giving them money, I would take money from them. Like, I would say, you know what? Minus $20. I would actually require them give me money for me listening to that. Oh, was it 2 private jets? Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, Mother Gaia isn't dying. Greta Thunberg isn't being upset. Did you notice that? Like, Greta Thunberg is already... she's probably fine. I mean, you know, like the Democrats and Greta Thunberg, they're probably tight. She's not going to be upset. It's like, okay, you know, take the private jet. Becca did nothing wrong. My God, if the people from the 1960s, would hear how the Democrats butchered their song, they would probably not be happy. You're like, please don't sing this. Shame AOC. Oh, AOC does have a singing voice. AOC knows how to dance. You know what? Like, while the Democrats were singing "We Will Overcome," AOC should have been there dancing. Like, should have definitely managed to at least alleviate some of the cringe. I'll give you this. AOC is a great dancer. Let's see that again. Hold on. Let me see if I can find AOC dancing video. The problem with AOC dancing video is, like, apparently it resurfaced, and then she went on and said that there's nothing wrong with what she did, and I'm like, who the fuck said there is? I mean, look here. You know, Marvel should take a little bit of notes from this. Alright, just show me the dancing video right here. Yeah, Marvel should take a little bit of notes from this. This is called Femininity, Marvel. You know, even AOC has it. I know it's astonishing, but like, no. This is called Femininity. Can you please have it in your comic books? Can you please add some of your superheroes with it? Why can't I find the video? God damn it. You know what would be funny? If the video is actually copyrighted, I'll get like a copyright strike because of this. Yeah, I think I found the video. Can't play the song, but why do they keep biting their lips when they're dancing? You know, like one of my exes told me, don't bite your lip when you're dancing. Okay. I don't know who the Cringe Fringe Squad is. They're definitely not stealing her thunder. I mean, she's got it in the back. She's got it in control. Look at. Huh? Beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. What is this, like reverse twerking? It does look like reverse twerking, doesn't it? Hold on. Yeah. It's like the reverse twerking. Look. The reverse of cultural disappropriation. It's when you're twerking in reverse. No, but like all jokes aside, like I'm not complaining. It's It's good. It's good. Look here. Look here. Okay. Wow. Gonna see her roar. Ah. It's sexy to be Democrat, yes. She does the BLM salute. That was unexpected. It's enough cringe? Well, no, I'm not even kidding. Like, unironically, that is not cringe. And yes, that was a furry. Yeah, that was the diversity. Epilepsy appropriation. You think that might be an epilepsy attack? Nah. But like, besides that move, that was a little bit weird. I agree. Like, the rest of the thing was actually good. I liked it. Let's see, what else do we talk about? Nah, this is going to be my video for tomorrow. Alright. Like, this is something that... Okay, this is how word manipulation works like. Okay, so... if you beat Psychonauts 2 with the invincibility toggle on, you still beat the game. Right? So now the conversation is like about beating the game. Excuse me, I beat Sword Guy serious time on a no-hit hard mode, and if you didn't do that, I didn't respect you. And like, can you even comment on things if you're not Diamond 6 rank? Okay, so the question is, if you finish a game with absolutely no difficulty, can you say that you finished the game? So on one hand, it's like this, okay? They're using the word manipulation tactic. So the accomplishment of one person is obviously different than the other. Like, there's a lot more skill required and effort for a person to beat the game at hard mode than a person to beat the game with cheat codes requiring just you holding the forward key to finish it. Alright? Now, just because we say you finished the game doesn't mean that the same level of effort was involved. It's pretty much like saying, I scored the goal. And you're like, okay, and one person scored the goal during the championship, right, in a professional setting, and another person scored the goal on an empty football field. I mean, technically, yeah, they both scored the goal, but one person's accomplishment is so colossal compared to the other person. Right? Like, one person did it with extreme amount of effort, and it was to the point where only very few people can do what they did, and the other person did something that literally anyone can do. So, I guess, like, this is the conversation here. It's like, by manipulating language, they're trying to make it sound like the person who scored the goal on an empty football field is literally doing the same and has the exact same achievement as a person that managed to score a goal in a professional setting. And the problem with this is that if you're going to remove the prestige from the people that put in a lot of effort and work, and you're going to pretend that it's literally the same as the people who don't put in effort and work, then what's the point in effort? So you're kind of discouraging the effort. By praising effort, by praising hard work, by praising merit, you're encouraging other people to work hard as well. It's like, okay, congratulations, you finished the game, with the invincibility. Now can you finish it without? And now can you finish it on normal? And then can you finish it on hard? Like, you need to constantly try to improve. Now, this is just a video game, right? It's a hobby. But the problem is that they use this mentality in other aspects of life. So, for example, when it comes to drawing and art, they will say all art is subjective, and therefore there's no point in improving because there is no such thing as a good artist, and there is no such thing as a bad artist. Like, all artists draw art. So if you're drawing art, then there is no point in trying to draw better. That is one of the reasons that Western art sucks right now, because there is no standard anymore. No one says, no one follow me to the stream. You call, I follow. I get what you did there. That's actually kind of funny. They know the majority of players don't finish the game. Well, you know, like, I'm not going to judge people when they're playing video games. The only people I judge when they're playing video games are video game journalists, because it's literally their job to play video games. I mean, they're actually paid money in order to play video games. So if you're a journalist and you can't even play a video game on normal, what the fuck are you doing here at the publication? You know, it's like a person that can't watch football. And they're now a football commentator. It's like, what are you doing? That's not your job. Why can't you learn how to watch it? Holy shit, thank you, Bear. That is the standard. Is that the standard is based on woke ideology? Man, I really want to make a video on this, because, but the problem is, like, when I put it in the title, people don't watch it. So I need a clickbait title on how to express myself. Right, so when it comes to art, I think I actually told this on this stream before. I don't know. Give me a second, I'll show you. So to say that all art is subjective is a lie. There is some truth to it, but I guess, like, this is how woke ideology works, right? Like, they inject you with a little bit of truth just so they can get in and then destroy everything. So would you rather have this painting on top of your bed? Like, be honest, you know, it's a very beautiful picture. I mean, don't get me wrong, the picture is beautiful, the lines are beautiful. But would you put this in a frame and hang it on top of your bedroom wall? Right? You probably wouldn't. How do I know this? If art is subjective, how can I tell that you wouldn't like this on top of your bedroom wall? Huh? It's subjective, right? So yet somehow I know that this picture is not something you would enjoy. But then you look at this picture, how do I know that at least this picture would make you feel like this picture? Like, if you have to choose, if I'm making you, hey, you know what? Which picture do you want on top of your bedroom? Do you want this or do you want this? How do I know that probably 99.9% of people, if forced to choose, they will choose this? Right? Like, this is something picturesque, this is something beautiful. Now, the conversation does happen. So this is objective. Like, I very much doubt, unless you're being a contrarian, like, unless you really want to win the argument, they're like, nah, I would love this on my bedroom door. Unless you're being contrarian, I think objectively people would prefer this over this, right? The problem is, like, when you talk about subjectivity, is like, which one is better, this or this? And now you're in the realm of subjectivity. You know, some people might prefer this, other people might prefer this. You might have, like, an expert photographer, and they would say, oh, like, this picture is so cliche, like, the angle and the lighting isn't good, blah, blah, blah. So now you're into the realm of subjectivity. So there is subjectivity in art. You know, maybe some people who grew up in the mountains, they would look at this and they might find it boring, or they might find it plain because they've seen it all over. Or maybe they would find it nostalgic and they would like this. Other people who grew up in the forest would probably be like, you know, like, I don't like this, because they would imagine that, oh, there's a lot of mosquitoes and bugs and stuff. But regardless, like, no one would like this. You know, like, universally, I think, like, most people would agree this is not a good thing. And, you know, it's the same. The problem is that if you say that all art is subjective, right? And you're saying, like, literally every single you're saying that every single art is subjective. What you're saying is that there is no such thing as a good artist, there is no such thing as a bad artist. And if you're saying this, then this is the type of art that you're going to get. You know, this is She-Hulk, and this is how they're drawing. Like, this is the professional comic book, right? And you can't complain because it's subjective, so clearly it can't be good or bad. It just is. It exists. So saying art is subjective allows people that are complete hacks to get into the industry and then draw into professional comics. V destroys aesthetic relativists with facts and logic. My God, that is actually a good title. I'll use that. I got questions for playing games on very hard with first time runs in games now. I get questions for playing games on very hard with first time runs in games. Yeah, I mean, people like to see someone overcoming a challenge, I think. Like, that's the whole thing. What do they study at our school if art is entirely subjective? Yeah, that's a good question. But I will tell you another reason why art is subjective is complete bullshit. Like, for example, if I say that this is garbage, if I say this is horrible, they'll go, oh, well, art is subjective, V. You don't understand. Like, art is subjective. But if I say, you know what? I really love this art. Like, I think this is really the best incantation of She-Hulk that I have ever seen. I really love her design. I really love what they're doing with it. I love the aesthetic, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. If I say this, no one will say, oh, well, art is subjective. You can't say it's beautiful. Only when you're criticizing it, only when you're saying you don't like it, do you have the people that art is subjective coming out of the woodwork. Think about it. When was the last time you said, oh, this is great. Like, this is really good. And you had people go, well, no, hold on a little bit. It's like, art is subjective. Okay, let me give you another example, okay? Give me a second. Oh my god, this is so frustrating. Okay, how can I even do this? Like, I don't understand why they put thumbnails that you can't find in the video. Okay, I managed to find the workaround. So, this is what female Red Hulk used to look like. Okay? And the reason people liked her is because this is what's called feminine beauty. Now, a lot of social justice activists, they say you're an incel if you like something like this. And I'm pretty sure then they go on OnlyFans and they worship Molody. They worship their queen. They give her super chats. But if you like this in the comic books, okay, you're an incel because you appreciate feminine beauty. They literally think that you whoop up your pork and you start stroking the salami while looking at this picture. And I think it's because maybe they do it. I don't know why, but I can look at this and I can say, you know what? This looks beautiful. Just like, I guess, when you look at a statue of Venus or you look at some Renaissance art depicting women, I haven't seen anyone in a museum whooping out their cock and starting to masturbate at the paintings. But I do think, like, people can look at a painting and say, yeah, like, this is a great painting. It looks beautiful. It's pleasing. It speaks to me, right? This, however, is the woke model. Now, if you complain and you say this is ugly, they will say, well, art is subjective, so why are you complaining? But the thing is, like, they rob this character of feminine beauty for no reason whatsoever. It's why I call it a fan disservice. Because if you ask the fans, I am willing to bet, if you go to people who purchase Marvel comics, like, in order to show credentials to be part of the poll, should be the only rule. So, like, ask people who bought both comics and then ask them, which is the design you prefer? I have no doubt in my mind. Absolutely, I am willing to put money on this. I'm willing to wage money. Like, I would sell my house and put all the money right here on black. That the overwhelming, it wouldn't be even like 50%. Like, it would be the overwhelming amount of paying customers would prefer this. Because it looks badass. Okay? Now this, you need to have, here's the thing, right? Like, this is also eye candy and it's also clickbait. Alright? Like, this sells. Simple as. Now, like, why do you think a lot of YouTubers who are banned used to put this into the thumbnail until YouTube started disliking it and they were like, oh, well, it's clickbait. Because it gets clicks. That's why it's clickbait. If you want to make this, you can make this. Okay, like, I'm not saying you can make a good story with this aesthetics. But what I am saying is that you best have some really talented writers to make this work. Because, like, The thing is, like, people are willing to overlook the story for the eye candy, in this case, like you're clickbaiting. But there is no more eye candy here to overlook. Like, the only thing going for you when you're doing this needs to be the story. You need to have, like, a really, really good, compelling story in order for people to stay here. But here, you already have the aesthetics, so, you know, the extra story would be a huge bonus. I mean, if you nail the aesthetics and the story, then it's going to be something that's going to sell. I mean, you're reaching manga territory now. You're going into My Hero Academia levels. You're going into Demon Slayer territory if you manage to come up with this and a good story. Here, however, the only thing that can save you, literally the only saving grace would be the story. And let's be honest, you know, they don't have the writers. They just don't. So that's what I have to say about aesthetics and relativism. Second one looks unrealistic as well as the first one. Though, like, if Bellhawk became a huge giant, I don't even know. Like, it's not even like male or female. She just looks uncanny. I mean, the legs were really thick. It's just like really weird. And I just don't think there's a fan base for that. Like, I don't think there's people that want to see that on a comic book, right? So it's a visual medium at the end of the day, and you're just saying visuals and aesthetics aren't that important. Or you're just like going, it's like, I know what the market wants when it comes to aesthetics, because you know the market reads manga, and you know the aesthetics of manga, so why are you going really in the opposite direction just to spite customers and do the customer disservice, the fan disservice thing? Just realize the 4chan World Cup is on right now. What is the 4chan World Cup? I have no idea what that is. What if I want to sell to the government? Yeah, so this is what they do. You know, like they overprice their comic books. So there's like many ways they can sell the comic book. One of the ways they sell comic books is like, let's say they have a comic that actually sells. So Injustice, okay? And they will say, and then let's say they have a comic book that doesn't sell. Zoe Quinn's bullshit or whatever. So they know that Zoe Quinn's comic doesn't sell, but they know that Injustice sells very well. So if you're a comic book store and you're like, can I have 100 copies of Injustice? They will say, yeah, we're going to sell you, but it's a package deal. So you can only get 100 copies of Injustice and you need to get 100 copies of Zoe Quinn's bullshit. And you're like, well, I don't want Zoe Quinn's bullshit. It doesn't sell. And they're like, well, no, it comes at a package. Either you get them both or you get neither. So when the comic book store buys it, because you have to understand, it's not you that's the customer for DC and Marvel, it's the comic book store owners. They're the ones buying the comic from them. So they're the ones that are paying for these comics that don't sell. They're the ones taking the loss. And then you also have the idea that, okay, well, they can overprice the comic book, and then they can make a deal with a library or a school, and they will get the school to purchase like 100 or 200 copies of the comic. And that's how they make money. Like, they bypass the consumer and they go straight to that free taxpayer money. Everybody's streaming right now? Okay. Sargon Destiny debate? Okay. Where? You know what? I'll go watch the Sargon Destiny debate. So I'm going to release you. Because I'm actually curious. I haven't seen Sargon and Destiny debate in a while. I watched Destiny and Mr. America debating. I think that was very interesting because it was before the previous elections, and now you in the future you have a little bit more context and you can see who was right and wrong on a lot of issues. So yeah, thank you for the donations. Hopefully you like This Week is Stupid. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I have a really great video on my secondary channel. And I'll see you guys there. Let me know what you think in the comments.